Hello friends, welcome to my channel. I'm Em and my books are everywhere. Today I'm going to be wrapping up February. I'll be talking about my 5-star reads, my standouts, my stats, and what I added to my TBR. Let's start with the stats. In February, I read 11 books, 3,985 pages. I had 3 5-star reads, 5 4-star reads, and 3 3-star reads, and 1 DNF. So I'm going to talk about my 5-star reads first. The first 5-star read I had was Authentically, Izzy, and that's by Basham. It follows Izzy Edgewood, who is a book lover and lover of all kinds of nerdy things like Lord of the Rings and I believe Star Wars and some other things like that. And her cousin signs her up for a dating app, and she meets a guy on there, but she wonders if he's real or if it's her cousin playing tricks on her. It was a fun rom-com. I enjoyed it very much. I would have given that book 4 stars, but it did touch me in unexpected ways because Izzy's parents died when she was young and she was raised by her aunt and uncle with her cousins as her siblings, and that's a similar situation to my own. And I felt a lot of the feelings that she expressed about that were feelings that I had as well. So that bumped this up from a 4-star to a 5-star for me. I highly recommend it and the rest of the Skamar series. The next 5-star book that I read was The Last Devil to Die by Richard Osman, and that is a British mystery series, the Thursday Murder Club, and it follows 4 senior citizens that live in a retirement village, and they investigate murders that happen around them. It's book number 4 in the series, and I've enjoyed the whole series. This book, I think what pushed it into 5-star was that am so attached to all of those characters by this time in the series. And it was, you know, I love the way Richard Osman writes. He is an author for me. There is language in the book, but not gratuitous, and it is, in my opinion, appropriate for the way he's writing the mystery. So I don't mind that. Other than that, I feel that this is a very clean series, and again, it gives me all the vibes of the British murder mystery shows that I love, like Midsummer Murders and Agatha Raisin and Rosemary and Thyme. I love it. It makes me laugh. This one brought tears to my eyes, and it's just good mystery, good fun mystery. So if you like mysteries, you might like this series too. The third 5-star book that I had in February was The Secret Adversary by Agatha Christie, and this is the book that introduces Tommy and Tuppence, that are childhood friends that meet again after World War I, and they find themselves with very little money and really missing the adventures that they had during the war. Pretty soon, though, they find themselves wrapped up in this international plot and having lots of adventures, more than they thought that they would have. It's considered one of Agatha Christie's adventure novels. I have a lot of fun reading it. I reread it frequently because it is part of the Tommy and Tuppence series, and I love to start at number 1 and read all the way through the end of the series, and then start back over again a month or 2 later. So I do read these quite frequently and have a great time every time. Other standouts I had in February, I'll start with this book. This is What the River Knows by Isabel Ibanez, and this follows Inez, who is from Argentina, and her parents are archaeologists, and she gets notice that they died in Egypt, and so she decides to go out there and kind of to investigate what happened to them. Now, this book does feature some magical realism. There are items that are kind of imbued with memories, I would say, from the past, and then some people that are sensitive to those memories, and Inez is one of them. But it's just a fun YA adventure. I would recommend this, though, for the higher age range of YA, because there is some language which I thought was unnecessary, and then also some situations that would be more appropriate for older readers. but it was a fun read, so I do recommend this one. Another standout in February is actually a whole most of a whole series. It's the Charity Shop Detective Agency series by Peter Boland. So I did read the first book in the series, the Charity Detective Agency, or the Charity Shop Detective Agency, and it follows Fiona, Sue, and Daisy. They work in a charity shop, which is like a thrift shop here, and they get involved in solving some murders that happen in the town where they live in England. Again, it's another series that gives me all of those British mystery, murder mystery vibes that I love so much, and it was a lot of fun. It's a clean, they're great characters. The other people in the town also great characters, and lots of laughs between them, and that happens in the situations that they find themselves in. That one, and as soon as I finished reading that, I went right into the next one in the series, which was the Beach Hut Murders. And again, they're investigating murders, but this time it's like a little separate community that's beach huts where people can use those like day use, but there are a couple of people that live there year round, and one of them is murdered, and so they investigate that. It was another fun read, and a good mystery in my opinion. And then the third one in the series is Death at the Dog Show. They're at a dog show. The charity shop that they have contributes to dog rescue, so they were there as part of that, and someone is murdered at the dog show, and they get kind of caught up in that investigation because one of them is suspected of the murder. So the series, I love it. I gave each one of those books 4 stars, but as a series, I might give it 5 stars because altogether they're just so good. Those were my standouts, and now on to what I added to my TBR. So I decided that I'm going to kind of keep track of what I add to my TBR each month, and of those that I add, if I read any of them, I can subtract them out to see if I had a net gain or a net loss, or how that shook out by the end of the month. So just to catch up, because I didn't do this in my January wrap up, in January I added So in January, I added 4 books to my TBR, but I read 2 of them. So that gave me a net gain of 2 books to my TBR. In February, I added 3 books to my TBR, and I read 1. So again, I had a net gain of 2 books to my TBR. So far in 2024, I've added 4 books to my TBR that I have not read. So of those books that I added in February, the first one is The Deadly Inside Scoop, and this is the one that I read in February. And this is by Abbey Collette, and this follows Wynne Cruz, who's just taken over her grandmother's ice cream shop. And she discovers a body and then investigates. Well, it turns out that this body was of a man that was kind of in a feud with her family. So that throws in another aspect to the mystery. This book I would say was okay. I gave it 3 stars. I really enjoyed the ice cream parlor aspects of this, but I felt like there were a lot of characters in this, and she has 2 best friends, and I kind of didn't like them. I think this is the start of a series, so I will try the next book in the series to see if they grow on me. But from this first book, I did like Wynne a lot, and I liked her family and a couple of the other characters, but I just wasn't connected to those best friends. I thought that they just, some of their choices just didn't make sense to me. But again, it's 3 stars. It is a clean read. If you like cozy mysteries, you might like this one. The 2 other books that I added to my TBR in February were The Shadows of Swanford, Abbey by Julie Klassen, and this was a recommendation from book lover Amanda. I didn't read this in February, but stay tuned. And then the last book that I added to my TBR in February was Wonka, and it's inspired by Roald Dahl's Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. It's probably like a novelization of the movie. I haven't read this one yet, but I am looking forward to getting to it. So that's a wrap up of my February. Let me know in the comments if you've read any of these books, what you read in February, anything that you want to chat about in the comments. I would love to have discussions there, and let's build this community. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.